message. I can't. It Zoom suddenly disappeared. So like I cannot share Zoom. I have no idea what's happened. So I'm also struggling here.
Okay. Hey, Kev, just give me 1 second. You guys sidebar over there. I just want to let everybody know we just went live on YouTube. So welcome everyone if you're already tuning in. And this will soon be the OpenExO Community All Hands 1. We'll have another one later today. And you may hear us doing a little bit of organization and setup as we get all the streams going. So hold tight while we get it all going.
Wait, we're streaming this to YouTube?
Heck yeah.
Okay, I gotta be careful of what I say then.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, good luck with that.
It's a different world now. Well, the lawyers will be listening.
Yeah. Delete. I don't have one of those little buttons that could mute you after you say something.
Something inappropriate?
Yeah. Can you imagine if we gave the lawyers one of those? Gosh.
I'm like a confidentiality attorney's worst nightmare.
Oh, man. Hi, Lars. Hi, Tudor. Hi, Ben. Lisa, Jason.
Good to see you all.
Starting to get some folks on here. 27 participants. We'll take a few minutes to give people time to join. I really think we'll kick this off one way or another around 5-6 minutes after the hour because we have a few things to go over and we want to make sure everybody has time to raise their hand and ask questions. Administratively, if you want to stop us from talking and ask questions, raise your hand. Use the raise hand button, and one of our folks here on the OpenExO core side will shut us up and let you talk. Okay. So this is meant to be a very friendly, somewhat casual thing. We have a lot of things to tell you, but we do want it to be a discussion as well. And there's been a lot of news, and we'll be resharing a lot of that with you over the next few minutes. Salim, do you want to add anything to that before, like just administratively before we get going, or Kevin?
Nope, I think that's good.
Can I make a quick point? If everybody that's watching this, if you'll go over to the YouTube channel, you can log in, mute it over there. We can still hear in here, but that way what's going to happen, it kicks in the YouTube algorithm so that it sees there's a lot of people showing up, commenting over there. That's going to kick it out to a lot more people.
As always, that is a great idea, Jason. I'll do that myself. I'll go watch myself. All right.
Wait, is there a link? Is there a link?
OpenExO, youtube.com/OpenExO.
Here, I've got it. I'll put it in the chat. It'll be a lot easier.
Link. What? We have a YouTube channel? No.
There you go. There's your live link.
All right. I clicked the like button. So there we go.
And there's
all right. Looks good
in the chat.
And we all look fantastic on the YouTube channel.
People probably appreciate it. I put my hat on, quit blinding you.
All right, Kevin, have you got your things worked out there?
Unfortunately, no. It tells me it's sharing, but everyone in Discord says it's not sharing. So
send them to YouTube.
Hang on just a minute.
And tell them to give us a like and a share.
Yeah, tell them to go to YouTube. All right.
We are all slaves to the damn algorithms now.
Yes, we are. My wife was complaining. A friend of hers sent her, you get sometimes your friends send you these weird little meme videos, and somebody sent her one. She clicked it, watched it on YouTube. It was like a 1 minute short. And now every single thing that one video, one click, everything that YouTube is recommending to her is about that subject. It's just not something she wants in her feed. So, these algorithms are crazy aggressive as well, too. And that pales in comparison to how TikTok works. All right, we're at about 30 folks here. We've got some chat. Hey, let us know where you're from, everybody. We love hearing where everybody's dialing in from. And we will get this party started. Salim, I think we agreed you would kick us off. We're all set up. We're streaming. The Discord folks can go over to YouTube to watch, or they can join us right here in the Zoom, Kev. So lots of options.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. And to probably the biggest announcement we've ever had in terms of a community and strategic next steps and a monster opportunity opening up in front of us. Saw many of you on the Abundance chat thread last week. We're going to be trying to do a replay of that event just for our community because a lot of people missed it and wanted to replay it. So we're checking as to what we can do with that. At the very least, I think we'll do a community discussion of the event, which we can then do more things with. It was pretty amazing. Maybe the best conference I've ever attended. It was that good. Really envious of Peter. He did a great job. And obviously the people there were kind of incredible. Elon dialing in from his plane, et cetera, et cetera. The little too many humanoid robots, in my opinion, but that's just par for the course, I guess, these days. There was an Indian company that is spending like $2 billion on R&D building humanoid robots, and I'm like, you've got 1.3 billion people in India. Why do you need humanoid robots? But that's a separate conversation. A lot of really old connections and faces and so on. So that was one thing. The second thing last week, obviously, was we announced the merger with Genius Group. I'm going to give a quick narrative here, an anecdote. So Roger Hamilton came to an executive program at Singularity University, I think in 2013, and in 2014 read the book and decided to build an EXO. And he built this global platform called Genius Group, and he took it public on the New York Stock Exchange 18 months ago. And then he basically came to us a few months ago. I was at an event with him, and we've tracked him over the years, and we've been in conversation with Roger. For those of you who know the Green School in Bali, he helped build that out, and I think he was chairman there for a couple of years. So deep in the future of education type of modality. And we, over a 3-4 month period ending last year, we decided it would be a good thing for us to merge and essentially add monster opportunities into our ecosystem together. There's one of the benefits of a public company is you can issue shares and do mergers, etc. Genius Group is also acquiring an enterprise AI company called FatBrain that has some really deep tech around AI, which will be very powerful. And essentially, we can position ourselves as a group as educating on building EXOs and leveraging AI, and then implementing EXOs and implementing AI, and then run that circle on a nonstop basis. Yaroslav has that diagram of learn, wake up, learn, do, share. And I mentioned that, and they went, oh, that's the great one. We should use that diagram. So Yaroslav, with your permission, we'll shoot that over and it could become core for the broader group. The synergies are that we get to expose close to 7 million entrepreneurs around the world to the EXO model, and that becomes a monster synergy, plus a whole bunch of others as we bring some of this to play. One other piece of it, we talked a while ago about fast track cities and creating an installation at a city level, and Genius has been thinking about that at the same time. And so we basically, the combined entity becomes very powerful. We have incredibly strong MTP alignment, which is, I think, the most important part. And there's a wonderful narrative about the Edge EXO reconnecting with the mothership in a sense, because he built it using the methodology in place. I've joined the board of Genius Group, as well as a fellow called Eric Poulier, who is deep in Peter's world and has a strong, he's built multiple $100 million companies. And this allows us now to really move the needle very aggressively on potential opportunities. We're a much bigger overall enterprise, etc. Now, from a functional perspective, we will be a fully owned subsidiary inside Genius Group, operating the platform independently, the brand independently, offerings are completely independent, and therefore we continue completely as we have been, except for we're now connected into this ecosystem. And if you've heard me speak, you know that we talk a lot about operating companies becoming platforms, becoming ecosystems. This is essentially that ecosystem play. There's some huge opportunities that are opening up very quickly as a result of this. I'm on a public call, so I can't mention it, but let's just say one of the three biggest companies in the world looks like we could partner with them strategically and offer a combined offering into countries. Like, so that's super powerful. And those discussions have already started. So that's the very quick summary. I can get into details and answer questions as people have them. Essentially, the two key points are A, now we have access to a huge ecosystem. B, the way we operate stays exactly the way we have been, and we just keep adding to the mix in different areas. Okay, so that's the summary. Kent, did I miss anything major strategic in this?
I'm laughing because you say we want to continue to do things just the way we have been doing. I like to think we're going to start doing things more, better, faster, and in more partnership with the community and especially our partners. So I think we should talk a little bit about where we're headed with partners. We've also got Stuart Lacey on the phone. Perhaps you could give him a quick intro. Why don't you hit those two things real quick while I keep wrangling this feed?
Okay. So we also announced a couple of weeks ago the addition of Stuart Lacey as Chief Growth Officer to our internal team. Stuart ran big chunks of YPO, has managed and exited multiple companies. He's written a book on luck, which is where we connected first. And Stuart, do you want to say a minute or two about your background and your involvement?
Sure, thank you. And hi, everyone. For those of you that have yet to meet me, I look forward to doing so properly. As Salim mentioned, I've been fortunate enough to be in a high level of service at some very large community organizations, YPO, which is touching 40,000 members. I was a CEO at Summit Group, 37,000 members. And I've had a beautiful journey of co-creation and discovery where I've applied a lot of exponential type organizational theory into a lot of the businesses that I've built. And then the book I wrote with Forbes, The Formula for Luck, is actually about how human beings effectively follow that journey. And we will be incorporating a fair amount of that into the platform and community as well. So we can support not just organizations, but the people that lead and participate and thrive in them. And so it's been a real pleasure to get to know so many of our community, especially as I'm getting to know also many of the facilitators, coaches, and other amazing people that we have. And I'm looking forward to bringing in some very significant global partnerships from currently discussions in Canada, across parts of Europe, Asia already, and even some participations with very large learning institutions in Latin America already underway. So if any of you have people you'd like me to meet or introductions you'd like me to consider chatting to, please just reach out to me. But aside from that, it's a real pleasure to be here, and I'm thrilled for the journey forwards, especially the recent news about Genius Group. Thank you, Salim.
Awesome, thanks. Hey, Salim, a couple of other things I'll just show real quick. This is the press release. This is the source version, so it's not a recycled version through many, many other channels. And I'll post the link to this here in just a second in the chat. I just want everybody to know about this, and so you can go read it for yourself. Right, that's the key here. I'm not going to go over it right now. Second thing is on so a couple of days ago, this is Roger's sort of genius related YouTube channel. Roger's got a pretty good number of subscribers there. He's gonna have to give us some better shout outs, Salim and Roger, if you see this somewhere. But he did a public Genius Group investor meeting on the 21st of March. It's this link right here, and I'm mentioning it because in it, OpenExO is mentioned, I think, 4 times. It's integrated into the slide deck. So, Salim, I think there's a couple of things in there you might want to touch on that you can probably just riff through. I'm not going to try to scrub through the video to find them, but the reason there is because it's also mentioned Salim, and this is the first, as far as I know, truly public view, aside from the press release, of the ambition. And it talks a lot about some of the things that Salim just mentioned. So I think it's a hour and a half well spent. If you want to do that, you'll also get to meet some of the other members of the board that'll be on the board with Salim, specifically Mo and Peter. And I think that's a good investment. Salim, you might want to talk to that just a little bit.
Well, this is where the MTP alignment, I think, is very powerful because the interest is in transforming the world globally. Teaching and entrepreneurship are key kind of vectors for that, and he brings it together in this model. Genius Group has several million members in its overall group and has accredited universities as part of its overall portfolio. So there's a really strong potential here. Lars will reach out to you because there could be really incredible partnerships with Educate for Life and other models. We might want to dust off what we did in Colombia a couple of years ago in terms of thinking about a quest as to what education should look like or could look like, and bring that to bear. The starting point, it's kind of really critical to eat your own dog food, right? And making sure there's MTP alignment was the first piece of this puzzle. The other thing is we've known and watched Roger now for several years, so it's not something out of the blue. And we're really thrilled about the potential outcomes is crazy huge. Even though we're kind of somewhat well known right now, for example, we're being asked to look at restructuring one of the top 3 or 4 advisory and accounting firms in the world. And now that we're in this joint group, it just makes it things go a lot faster when people go, oh, you're a part of a publicly listed company, as opposed to, that's great, we know you, what organization and ecosystem is this? So very, very excited about many things around all of this. It's a win-win at like 15 levels.
Awesome. So I want to stop there just for a second, us talking, and sort of open the floor. Please put your hand up if you'd like to ask a question, make a statement, hopefully not political. But yeah, just let us know what you've got going on there. What are you thinking? What's your reaction? What do you feel related to all of this?
Come on, people, don't be bashful.
I know you all aren't that shy.
I'm just going to say I'm out.
Sorry, I can't find my button to put my hand up, so I apologize for that. This is Layla Hecker.
Hi, Layla.
Sorry about that. Hi. So one of the main things that I love about OpenExO is the fact that we all have an MTP, are working towards an MTP, crafting an MTP, refining an MTP. This Genius group is also built on EXO functionality, framework, methodology. So does that mean that they all have MTPs too? Because I want to make sure that we remain connected in that way, where we're all seeking to do big things for humanity. And so I was just wondering about that aspect.
Yes. This is one of the key reasons we decided this was a good fit, is that there's an MTP alignment around transforming the world that we all share.
Yes, and I would add to that Genius Group at its heart is ed tech, right? So they're out to educate the entire world in a way that is deeply transformative, and they have some really large ambitions. One of these days we'll get Roger onto one of these calls, and he can share from his point of view. I think that's going to be really compelling when we get that group together. We're in the thick of it now. It's been a little hard to pull that together in the short time, but yes, Layla, great question. And there's clear MTP alignment. And as Celine pointed out, this is so, I don't know if you know the story of AT&T and Bell Labs, but Bell Labs was first, AT&T was second, then AT&T consumed Bell Labs and it became the company. In this case, it's a little different, but the OpenExO and the book and the EXO model and methodologies guided Roger and his team in the creation of the company. They openly talk about this quite frequently. And then look, they've come back and they've said, wow, better together. And that's really cool. I mean, so it's an EXO. It's a little recursive, but it's a good thing. Yeah. Who else has any thoughts or updates?
Ben, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So excited about this, but I'd be interested to know how you see the community start to interact with each other. Like, how can we support their community? How will they support us as consulting and coaches, and particularly the working groups as well? How do you see that we're going to be supporting each other this way?
Don't know fully yet. A key thing will be that we'll start offering OpenExO training to all their entrepreneurs. And then that might drive a large amount of activity back into the platform and back into the ecosystem, right? So that's one obvious one. A second one is I'm going to project ahead a little bit, but if you take our 10 attributes, there's a natural small LLM that can be built around each one of those, and then drop that into a company, right? And we could do that jointly. They actually have an AI suite of AIs for CMO, CFO, etc., that you can start leveraging pretty quickly. I think they're in draft or beta for that. But there's some huge parallels in the types of things we're trying to do. Not surprisingly, given we're operating off the same formulaic code base of the EXO book. They've built a large community, etc. We'll see how closely the communities interact and where they intersect. I think we're more community and they've done more work in attracting a crowd. And so the connection could be very synergistic there. Okay.
Yeah, and I would only add that they're extremely excited also to bring OpenExO and the EXO model deeper into the company. And I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities to shape what you're asking about then. And as Celine pointed out, we're looking for those natural, low friction interfaces to start. And it's easy to give, to find a path to offer, 6 million entrepreneurs foundations, right? That kind of thing is just kind of a no-brainer. So find a path to do that, get Salim and Roger on the horn to the Genius community so that they can speak to them and explain to them about the merger and about what that would mean for them. And then finding the opposite, how can we support all the things that they do with our community? I think we're around 38,000 now. And so obviously we want to bring our community into their communities as well. So we've really got to seek out and find those natural low friction interfaces, which is one of the 10 attributes, to make it start to work. Good question. Who else? I've talked to all of you guys for a long time. I know some of you have questions. If not, I'm just going to go on to the next thing. So let's see, Salim. We had next on the list. Oops,
I think I saw Nikki's hand up. Nikki, what's your hand up?
Thank you. Yes, it was.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm just real curious as to how you might think EXI, Exo Angels, and some of the other groups that have sort of spun off might be able to be a part of this as well in a low friction way.
Yeah. So we, Stuart, myself, and Kevin in particular, have been looking very, very closely at how we partner with partners. We have not always been successful or totally where we want to be with this, and we acknowledge that. And it has become, this whole situation with the GNS merger makes it ever more important that we get that right. I'm really happy to say that some very good work has been done in the last, I'd say, 2 months, Stuart and Kevin, would you say, around this? And we've already got kind of a couple of beta partners testing that agreement before we roll it out more broadly. So Nikki, all of those organizations that have spun out, we'll need to have you guys come in and talk to us, and we'll look at that partner agreement together and explain how it works. And we're looking, I'll say OpenExO is deeply grateful for and loves its coaches and consultants. You all know that we've spent the better part of 8 years building up the network. Yaroslav personally has trained every single one of you, right? You're like his children. And he's, we want to make sure that we're able we are becoming more and more able of pushing more and more work, real paying jobs, right, out to the certified partner network. So we need everybody to make sure their certifications are updated, make sure that they're watching and paying attention. And with that, and the new sort of guide rails of a partner program, OpenExO is likely to continue to support and drive sales and operations around programs, but not deliver them. Our partners we have delivery partners, right? So I don't anticipate, being a head coach on a sprint as part of the OpenExO core. It's a bit of a conflict of interest, in fact. The core needs to support the coaches, the consultants, and the companies that are running those programs, we call them. So think of it as sprints, workshops, even EX2 engagements, perhaps. We don't even quite 100% know yet, but we're looking for the right balance there so that we can really support you very, very well when you're running programs. And we've not always hit the mark on that. Let's be clear. We know that. And we are working very hard to make that, orders of magnitude better. Salim, you want to add to that, Kevin or Stuart?
I think just it'll play out over the next few weeks and months, and we'll get some structures in place, test a couple out, and then scale. And I think we can move very quickly in terms of what's possible. We're brainstorming how we can automate a whole bunch of stuff as fast as we can around this. A whole question is going to be, how do we integrate into their platform, because they also have a technical platform, and what do we do with all of that? So there's a lot of questions to be asked and answered. But I think our opportunity space went up 10x by this, and then we'll go much bigger as we figure out how to merge efforts.
That's right. This is the moment you want to be paying attention, Stuart.
Yeah, Ken, thank you. I would just add as well, in my view, we can have an amazing platform in super tech, but ultimately human beings connect as human beings to human beings, and it's the people and how we care about each other that really matters. And I take that with a view to how we partner and grow, and that the importance of the ties that bind us and the village or the community that drives it is critical. And that's very much evident by all the people that are here supporting the community and growing it, and all the advisors and coaches. And so you can't meaningfully and thoughtfully do what we're planning on doing without having the most important stakeholders at the table, and that's this community and its proponents. So, be very thoughtful, and I'm very committed to ensuring that we can do it in a way that combines both the best of human and interaction, as well as with an incredible technology and platform.
Bingo. Very well said.
Absolutely. And just in terms of some of the other questions that have been in the chat, I know that there's folks that want to know a little bit more about the company Salim was talking about. Unfortunately, because we're live on YouTube, we won't be able to do that. But join on Thursday Salim's AMA, which is private, and perhaps he might be able to speak a bit more there openly. But
that's right.
but yeah, we're going to have to keep it that way. Yes,
hey, Kev, just because you said so.
This phone call is a rare moment of cautiousness for me.
Yeah. We've got him tied to the chair, and there's a shock thing there. No, I want to show you this, Kevin. You just mentioned the AMA, which is it's the mastermind, and we hold the masterminds every single week. This that you see on the screen here, let me pin myself so that it's clear. If I can do so. Am I pinned? Oh, thank you. Thank you. I am pinned? Are you sure? I don't think so. Now I'm pinned. Now, anyways, this is the web.openexo.com/calendar. We put the link in the chat and the link on YouTube. You really want to watch here. There are multiple events every single week now. Many of them run by your own community members, like Ben's group, the AI working group, which is super fun. But what Kevin just mentioned is the EXO Mastermind, which is here on the 28th. So watch this page. This is the most trafficked page on our website, by the way. And so people are coming to this and they're finding out where to go. And this is a little more private, right? And it's part of the pro tier from a membership perspective. So you do need to be in the pro tier to come to the masterminds. If you're not and you really want to taste test, reach out to Member Experience and ask them, and maybe they've got a little something there for you. I think we can say that pretty clearly to help you at least get a feel for it, okay? Especially when one's coming up with Salim. I think we'd be happy to help people out there. So I just wanted to point that out, Kevin, and over back to you.
No, perfect. And then there was also a question just around EXO training and dates offered. I know we do have Yaroslav here. Yaroslav, if you want to, if you can jump on and just answer that, or I'm happy to as well.
Sure, happy to. Kevin, can you read out the question, please?
Just in terms of additional dates for EXO training. So perhaps sharing a little bit about the evolution, to continuous learning, but we are still going to have cohorts. So I think it's with regards to any additional cohorts around.
Yeah, perfect. So maybe because some of you maybe haven't been on one of some of our recent calls, so maybe just a quick recap. Once we switch to the subscription tiers, mainly the premium and pro tier, we are building a lot of learning content that goes into those tiers, and that content is built either through by us, like new courses, or it's built by our community. Every 2 weeks we have a masterclass. And we've done over 30 of them now, and all of them are uploaded at learn.openexo.com. That's where you can always find all of the learning content that is being uploaded there. On the premium tier, besides the foundations course, which probably many of you have taken, right before the Christmas, we launched Exponential Technologies course, which we have built together with AI. It was quite an interesting experience for us. So that's definitely, I recommend it. It's a great overview of all of the key exponential technologies that are driving the kind of pace of change we see out there. So we actually missed this course for quite some time as a community. So highly recommended to do that. And then we have about a couple of weeks ago, we have just launched a new course for the pro tier. It's called EXO Pro Foundations, and it's actually built on the new 2.0 book and also a lot of our experiences over the years. It has, you can see 3.5 hours of content. It has kind of an awake section. We give you also an awake presentation that you can run. We speak about how you start a new EXO, how you implement EXO in an existing company with small and medium businesses, in an enterprise kind of context, also different practices for EXO professionals, we call them, which is basically anybody that wants to use EXO in a professional context. And that's kind of the key focus of that pro tier, is anybody who wants to not just learn about EXO framework and kind of explore it, but who also wants to go and apply it in a commercial sense, whether as an entrepreneur or as a consultant and a coach, or as a business owner, or maybe an innovator within a larger business. So for these three personas, we have actually built a new series of courses. The EXO Pro Foundations is the first one. You can see me there. And we then have the advanced certifications, and many of you are advanced certified, so consultant and coach. Those will remain, but we'll basically have 3 advanced courses. One is going to be for consultants and coaches, and there will be 2 certifications you can earn, the consultant and the sprint coach. What is now really cool is that you don't need to, like in the past, you used to have to take foundations and then consultant and coach. Now you can go directly to coach. Once you take pro foundations, you can go directly to coach. So that will make it accessible. If you, for example, only want to learn about the EXO sprint, you can go directly to the course kind of on that. So that's going to be one course. We're also building a new course for entrepreneurs. We'll be building a new course for entrepreneurs, probably together with Genius Group, and then also a new course for corporate innovators, which is going to come online during the year. And all these advanced courses that I have just mentioned, they will be available within the pro tier. There will be an additional fee just because the certification will take us kind of an additional effort. And also we'll be running them both as a self-paced course that you can then get certified, but the price will be much lower than it used to be. And then we'll also be running them as live cohorts because people sometimes prefer to go through a live cohort. So those will be coming, and that's coming, I think, to the answer of the question. If you're interested in taking any of the live cohorts, we are opening consultant and coach. We are still taking people, and once we have enough people, we'll spin up a cohort with our community members as trainers. So you can contact either certification@openexo.com, directly Anastasia@openexo.com, who are gathering interests for those courses. So hopefully I have answered thoroughly.
That was really good. Thank you. Okay, any questions about that, or did we get everything? Any hands up?
I do have a question.
Go for it.
Is it realistic that this year we can have an accredited partnership with Genius Group so that some of the course packages actually lead to U.S. university credits?
We hope so.
Is there a bridge?
Sure hope so.
Wow.
We think we can build
huge.
We believe we can build that bridge. It is certainly not built yet.
And not just that, we could actually get a whole MBA program accredited as an EXO MBA.
Yep.
Wow.
That's the big dream. Yeah, that's what we want.
I mean, there's a bunch of EXO courses taught at universities already by many of our community members, right? There's a master's course. Karina, I think, teaches one, and
Peter
teach aspects of it in their programs. but we could do a whole accredited EXO MBA program. I think was one of the really powerful things that could come out of this.
That's right. Okay, awesome. Thank you,
Thanks.
Tudor. Great question. Anybody else with questions before we go to the next piece?
So somebody's asking in the chat how many shares, et cetera, et cetera. Just to speak to that for a second, what we've done is signed a definitive merger agreement. It's about a 6-7 week period, maybe a little longer, to close the actual transaction and finalize it. And a lot of how this works will be determined based on a bunch of variables along then. So we can't say that much right now. But because it's a public company, a lot of this will end up becoming public at some point. It's an initial merger agreement and then a multi-year type of consideration based on performance goals, etc. The huge opportunity is that the combined entity plus the AI stuff that has been added to it gives literally world-class level potential, and therefore we're super excited by what could come. We just can't say more than that, otherwise I'll get shot in the back by the lawyers and then they'll get really mad, type of thing.
There's another question in the chat, Salim. Will OpenExO benefit from the billions of dollars being poured into AI by many governments around the world?
I hope not, just because anytime we take government money, the bureaucracy around it is like pure hell. But there's no question that the amount of transformation that's possible. I mean, for those of you who watched the Abundance Summit, should have been pretty blown away by what's possible today, right? It's just unreal. And if you haven't joined Ben's AI working group in the Discord channel, please go do so you can track some of the ridiculous things that are happening. I had a couple of long conversations with Imad Mustak, who's the founder of Stability AI, while I was at the Abundance Summit, and he's moving to try and fully decentralize AI and move to kind of smaller models. It's kind of freakish how you may have seen also Liquid AI present on stage. This is the MIT startup that I couldn't mention by name before. But they were able to train a model for literally 1,000 times less than OpenAI can train a model, and that's after a year. So the pace of change in that world is mind-boggling, to say the least. And so huge things. And unfortunately, I can't restate my comment about partnering. We'll talk about it in the private conversations in terms of some more details around that. Okay.
Yes. Okay. And let me see if there were anything. Somebody asked how much money we make. We don't really disclose that right now. Sorry, Mahadi. But when we're part of a public company, then you'll be able to see. So it'll all be there. So, yep.
One question that's been brought up to me several times is, with this merger, is there a potential of like a revenue share or an affiliate program for people of the community that's referring over to the new company?
Big time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'll let you
we've got I'll say that we've run trials, Jason, and we have had a mixed number of successes and failures. We have to figure out how to do these things in a way that's really works and is scalable, that we can roll out. So we experiment, just like we tell our customers to do. We do the same thing. And what we know for sure is that we have a path planned that is going to be that and more. Like, I am really excited about where we're headed with that. It is tied up a little bit with the token. I'm going to give a couple of updates about that in a minute, but not solely the token. It's about creating, think of it like an economic entity that people can have a stakeholding in, very DAO-like, distributed autonomous organization, not, transcendental stuff. Yeah. So I think it's something you guys are really, really going to like. And when I can start talking about it fully, openly, publicly, the first thing will not be, here's how it's going to work. The first thing will be an invitation to help us create, right? But it will have resources. That's been the push. How do you make sure that when you go and you make that invitation to create this thing that is DAO-like for OpenExO, that it also has enough resources to do something, not just sit around and talk, right? That's critical. And I think we're getting very close to that as part of everything that's going on around these changes, the merger, investment, and related things. Okay, good question. All right, let's see, we're at 11:41. Let's see, what's this? Yeah, working group, thank you, yes, okay. I wanna show you two pieces of our platform really quick. So I'm gonna switch back over here, attempt to find myself, and oh, thank you, Kevin, did you do that? Appreciate it. This is our platform when you first log in. I'm doing this because I know, because I see you in the back end, whether you've logged in or not. I know a lot of people haven't logged in a little while, and so much has changed over the last, this is March, 15 months. We put the new version of the platform live in December of 22. We spent the entirety of 2023 refining, fixing bugs, rolling out the membership tiers and making everything work. And then the big news from December of 23 is that we deeply added gamification. So if you look here at the top, now listen, when I say gamification, I didn't say we turned it into a game, although life is a bit of a game. We gamified. So you'll see that we have experience points up here now. 1,769 experience points. If you click on your experience points, it'll tell you all the different ways you can earn XP. But I thought that what I would do to demonstrate how this works is show you how you can earn experience, just one of the many ways. You can come here, this is feeds. And by the way, feeds is a curated list of many, many, many news sources. Think of it like a meta RSS reader. And we love it when our community sends us in things to add to the feeds, because then it becomes something more of the community, by the community, for the community. But if I'm looking through here and I see, okay, I loved watching this, right? The Intuitive Machines story and their lunar lander and fell over and kept working for a little while. It was very awesome. So if I really want other people to know about this story, then I can super vote. And I click that little button right there. Watch my number here. It should go up. And there it went. Did you see that? Yeah, that's pretty cool. My experience points went up, and I can even give it another little boost by clicking the up arrow and it'll go up again. And now you can't sit here all day and click on upvotes and get infinite points. It doesn't work that way. It will start to taper off, and then you'll be reset in a little bit of time of when you can do it again. But so use your super votes and your votes wisely. But this is just one of many examples. The fastest way, the way you can earn more experience than anything else, is to write an article for EXO Insights. Many of you have done it, and I see people here on this call that have written articles. Thank you all very much. You will see that EXO Insights is going to get merged into the platform fully pretty soon. That's the project that the development team is actually, the DevOps team is working, or the platform engineering team these days is working on right now. So I really just want to let you know that, because we have XP now, we can actually really track and see how people use and want to use the platform, and we can be more responsive to those needs. And so it's been really, really cool that way. Any questions about that before I do one other thing?
Just been reminding folks that if you follow people, you can also earn points, and that's also it's early days in terms of the following and how that'll be helpful in the long term, but that is very true, and there are a number of other ways too.
Yeah, click your XP number at the top. Even if it's 0, it'll take you to the screen. It tells you all the current ways to get XP, and you can check that out. Now, the next thing I want to show is, this is my Discord view, and this particular group I want to show is here, Exos token. So if you're curious and you care about what's going on with the Exos token, this is where you want to watch, because this is where I post the updates for the migration project timeline. And here today, for the first time anywhere, I'm going to share 2 pieces of news that almost nobody knows yet, which I'm pretty happy about. So number one is not yet. We actually partnered with Casper Network to do this token migration and move the token from its native L1, which is the Exos blockchain, which we've been running since 2018. We're moving it to the Casper blockchain as a Casper asset on the Casper blockchain. So we will no longer have to run our own blockchain, our own L1. We don't want to do it anymore. Okay. And the thing here is that we're right at the end. We're in the UAT period right here at the end. So we're internally testing the migration portal, which I'm not going to show right now. But what I want to say is the 2 key things to remember is, number one, we're going to do a token split. We originally set forth that there would be 300 million tokens ever, plus the staking rewards. It turned out that we made that choice in 2017. It's a bit low. So we're actually going to do a 10-for-1 split. Now it is proportional. Nobody's getting more or less than anybody else. You put your token in, 1 EXO's in, 10 tokens come out. The tokens that come out the other end are not going to be called EXOs. I'm in the last inches of being able to tell you what the new name is going to be, but I'm a little bit worried to share that today in case it doesn't. The team's testing. They have to go through all the DEXs and central exchanges and make sure that it's a name that we can actually use, and they're doing that now. I'm actually really happy with the new name, and I think everybody is that's seen it in the little test group. But very soon, the token's name will change from EXOs to another token name, and the reason for that, if you're curious, is a little embarrassing. If you take the word EXOs, EXOS, and you put a $ in front of it, it looks like the word sexos. And Google, we should laugh about this now, I suppose, but it wasn't very funny when we first discovered it, because Google blacklists that and won't index it, won't promote it. You can't do anything with it. So we basically have had to rename the token. So we have no real choice there. Didn't see that coming when we picked the token name originally. So yeah, there you go. That's it. That's my updates and shares. We've got a few minutes left. Let me see if I missed anything here in a second. Let's see, full. Okay, there we go. Did I miss anything? Salim, Kevin, Stuart?
One more thing to note is over the next few weeks, we'll be doing a huge push around an NFT launch that we're doing on Bitcoin ordinals. So stay tuned for some news around that. It'll be pretty surreal. I've been dabbling in the space for a while, as some of you know. I'm completely fascinated by the fact that these are things that are programmable and therefore really interesting, and they'll represent. We'll be doing airdrops with them, and we're going to have some fun with these things. So just watch for an airdrop around ordinals. Okay.
Early April is the tentative. But
yeah, may shift by a couple of weeks. That's all.
Kent, y'all gonna have to start bringing all of us non-technical folks on NFTs and the blockchain up to speed on this stuff. So we just got to hang around in those education channels.
So you saw the educational video we put out about Alex recently, Kevin and I did, and the editing team did a phenomenal job on that video. I'm so proud of them for that. But we already intend and have been working on some scripts and some more short form things to educate about not only Bitcoin and ordinals, but also Casper. And I think Yaroslav mentioned it, but there's a Casper Enterprise blockchain course coming out that will be premium plus in the platform pretty soon. And then we'll need to talk about how Casper works. We'll need to talk about how Bitcoin and ordinals work, and NFTs on Ethereum work, because you might not know it, but the OpenExO platform is actually a Web3 platform. We just did it so that the Web2 folks wouldn't feel like they transported into another dimension. So it's all there. You just have to take advantage of it. You can see some of that now easier through your dashboard, which is your default landing page now.
There's a bylaw that you have to be under 25 to use a blockchain, written somewhere. So just find yourself a young kid and get them to reverse mentor you. That's all.
And I liked what the gentleman said on there on the after party about the fact that technically just to learn about blockchain, you're looking at least 100 hours worth of education, and people don't realize that, and most people won't take that upon themselves.
It's a tough one, but it is absolutely the future, just because we're moving from a centralized world to a decentralized world, and it's one of the biggest tectonic shifts that we'll see in civilization. In fact, and it's driving the scarcity to abundance vector. It's Mad Max versus Star Trek. There's a whole bunch of different framings or paradigms you can lay on it, but it's definitely moving that way. And you can see the legacy environment kicking and screaming all the way, because they're comfortable in the centralization, and a lot of money is being made in that. And just just watch some of Michael Saylor's talks to get a sense of Bitcoin and how profound that shift is. And that's one piece of the broader puzzle. Maybe we want to have a specialized dedicated session on Web3 for the community as a kind of primer for what and why are we involved in this and why are we interested in it.
That would be great.
You should mention the you should mention the A360 conceptual replay thing we're thinking about. I, for one, have already went back and watched the Michael Saylor section 1.5 times, and I'll probably finish it and watch it a little more. There was a lot of great information in there, and then there was so many other talks. We're trying to do something, but we don't have full permission yet. You want to talk about that, Salim?
Yeah, I think what we're going to try and do is do a replay of the A360 summit internally for the community. At very least, if we can't get the permission for replaying the videos because they take them down pretty quickly, we can kind of mention each one and go through it and talk about it. For example, a fellow presented the 3D printing of houses and how they're getting the cost down to it used to be $200 per square foot of a 3D printed for a house, and now it's down to $35, which is comparable with the best current wall technology. And so 3D printing houses is now just tipping over into reality and will completely change the game for housing going forward, right? And so that's just one little example of some of the stuff that came out. What's fascinating is we've been tracking a lot of this stuff for quite a few years. To see it actually come to fruition is kind of like eye-popping. Just like we've been tracking AI for quite a few years, and to see where it gets to, that is very, very powerful also. Okay.
Can I ask a quick question about membership?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Last September, you offered the 3 years for the price of one payment for going from basic to premium, premium to pro. Would you be willing to offer it again from premium to pro?
I got to check with our financials whether we can afford to do that, because but in theory we should be doing something like that regularly for our members.
And I'll just add to that, if we run promotions like that, it'll be once a year. So you could miss a whole year and wait for it, or kind of get started, and then when we get there, we did allow people who were already members to move into those offers, right? So they were able to sort of double down on their membership that way. But yeah, it's those.
Oh no, I did. I'm just looking to go from premium to pro.
Awesome. Yeah, we're not offering anything like that right now. If we do, it'll probably be later in the year. But it's as Salim pointed out, those types of deals technically internally are expensive. So we have to mind our P's and Q's there.
Any last questions, folks?
Okay. I feel like there was one other thing I wanted to say. It was related to, oh yeah, if you're in premium, I wanted to remind everybody that every 2 weeks we have these master classes, and they're generally put on by members of our community who are experts in some area. I love these. Like, they all go into a course in the Learning Hub called Master Classes. There are currently a lot, 16 hours and 55 minutes worth of master classes, and a new one gets added every 2 weeks. Go check that out. It's really cool. I've been learning all kinds of things in there, and it's just a lovely way to connect really deeply with one of our members. If you're in the right membership tier, which is premium or higher, you can go live to the masterclass. Otherwise, you'll see it at some point as a replay in the Learning Hub. Or no, did I say that right?
And Layla Hecker will be doing the one tomorrow.
Oh, there you go. That's awesome, Layla. Thank you. We love it when our members step up and do that. You get all kinds of support. Everybody who's done them gets all kinds of follow-up from members. It's a really lovely community creator. Yeah, I just wanted to get that plug in there for those. They're really cool. Lars, you were large and in charge in part of the AQ mastermind master class, for example. I actually clipped your segment because it was so clear on what an AQ can do for a team that's running in a sprint. was really
I'm
good.
actually
That's
doing
just
the
one
reverse
example.
tomorrow for the AQ community about what EXO is and EXO
Oh,
Springs and all
fantastic.
that.
Well, let us know how we can support
Yeah.
you. We've got all kinds of slides and materials and everything if you don't have it already. Let the member experience team know what you need.
And
and that's a good example where, Lars, if you know that's coming up, drop into the mastermind. Those happen every week, and say, I need, right? And the team is there and they will help you. That's why we're here, right? So,
and all of you
awesome.
wonderful educators, make sure you show up tomorrow morning for the education channel.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, we have a new working group spinning up. Jason has been putting a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that to make it spin up. It takes a lot of energy to get a working group going and with the flywheel spinning, but once it's spinning, they get to be pretty extraordinary. And Jason has been putting in a lot of work to try to see if we can get the education one going. So
not just me, there's a lot of people helping. So that's a good thing about it. It's a community effort.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And there will be other working groups. We have multiple applications for new working groups. We're being a little slow on purpose rolling them out. So we make sure that we give good guidelines for booting up and running a working group so that it doesn't just turn into total chaos. But they are meant to be community run with some guidelines.
Just learning freaking Discord is a huge challenge for many people.
It is.
Goddamn tool.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. But it has a great financial model for OpenExO.
Great job on the reset. Great job on the reset of Discord this weekend. That'll make things a lot more secure, though.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Colleen, her name's Colleen Hurd. We brought her in. Kudos to Michael Janssen for finding her. She has been wonderful helping us get our Discord house in order, because quite honestly, it was a little bit of a mess. And but it's way better now. and there's even more. We didn't do a lot of pruning of groups and things in this round. It was more of a security and operations update, and also a lot of automations went in, Jason. But in coming days and weeks, we will actually be pruning stuff that doesn't work. People don't use it. You can't just let it grow forever. You got to clean it up. So there's a lot of stuff coming on that. It's really turned out to be wonderful. I actually did want to have it in outside the platform, but we can't replicate all of Discord's features and functions and stuff. We don't have it. It's never going to happen. So it makes sense to find strategic places where you use a tool like that.
By the way, just a separate aside, for those of you who are listening to the Abundance Summit, I was trying to stream my Meaning of Life talk, which did happen, but I was in a part of the building where the Wi-Fi was bad on top of me. It's starting pretty late for most people. So what we're going to do is try and experiment and run a closed session Meaning of Life session with this community. So we'll try and get that scheduled over the next few weeks and do that. Alcohol or equivalent substance mandatory. And
whatever works for you. Yeah.
Also before 9 a.m.
Fantastic.
I'll bring my ice water.
Really good.
Of course, at 2:30 the other morning.
That's great.
Oh, well, everybody makes that point. We are, okay, let's just say the working group for AI gets bigger and bigger. Well, we're going to find a way to start to offer these things in an offset time zone, just like we're doing this today. And we're going to end exactly on time. So we're closing out in like seconds. So get ready to say goodbye. But the point is that, we know that we need to start serving better the APAC and European time zones. But you have to hit a certain critical mass before you can split a group to do so. So if you're in those time zones that's affected and you're finding yourself up at 3 a.m. or whatever, please raise your hand to the member experience team so they can log your vote to get something going. But we won't do it without at least a dozen, maybe more people who are going to commit to be there. Got to commit to be there, or otherwise what doesn't work. Okay. All righty. That is it. Thank you so much. We're doing it again later. I don't know what time, but it'll happen. And if this triggers anything that you want to talk about more, come to the next masterclass. Next mastermind. We'll be there. Can't wait to see you.
Take care, folks.
Everybody have a great day.
Great session. Congratulations.
Bye.